Hi, y'all, Agent here, and we are going to talk about the PSK weapon and microbots. I've been doing a lot of these microbots lately. This one is built from all cubes and stuff. Usually I build them inside of a cosmetic, like the alien mask. I've got a flying alien head that has a PSK mounted to it, and there's barely anything sticking out of it. But this one is all cubes, helium, no cosmetics, and we're going to fly it around. And we're going to talk about this weapon because this weapon is ridiculous, to be quite honest. It doesn't do a lot of damage, as you can see. It's not really melting this guy away, even though he's getting shot at by other bots. The problem with it is that it's a sustained damage. It doesn't run out of energy very fast, and when it does, it can still continue to fire at a reasonable rate. So what I've done is I've taken these things and I've mounted them to tiny little bots that are hard to hit. So you've got guys like this. He's got a PSK as well, and its nature is it homes in on your enemy. So that's going to be a hard counter to this bot. There are, I think, 3 players in this match using those, but there's no real arrow flak, and there's a lock-on guy, but I pretty much avoid him for the whole match. So you've got 3 hard counters. You can be countered, and you can run into a match where there's so much flak and lock-ons and PSKs that you can't do a whole lot with a little bot like this. You have to play really smart in those matches, and you're probably only going to score about middle of the pack. And I've ran into several of these matches, just like with any bot. You're going to find matches where you're not going to do very well. It happens sometimes, and it's rare. But I've run into these matches, and I still score middle of the pack, even though I am being constantly destroyed very easily. I get players that want to focus me down because they know how powerful this weapon can be, especially when it's overclocked, as a general harassment tool, and it's like a dogfighting tool, and it's an excellent dogfighting tool because if they don't have a PSK on their aircraft, their bomber, or their fighter, or whatever they're using, the chances are that even though their bot is built a lot tougher and a lot bigger, you're still going to win because you are so small and hard to hit that it just, the damage they do, if they can't do the damage, it doesn't matter if they can't hit you. So the deal with free jam in this weapon was that they said they added it for newer players so that they can have an easier time, because some kind of focus group thing they had, they said that 90% of the players in the 10 to 18 age range said that the weapons were hard to use. Well, you're going to encounter that with any game you start playing. You're never going to be able to just jump into a game. I won't say never. You usually will not be able to just jump into a brand new game that you've never played before and start owning faces off. That's not how gaming works. You have to learn how to play the game. So they took that equation out. They took that variable out of the equation. Now you don't even have to learn how to play the game. The game will aim the gun for you. Well, in my opinion, in any remotely competitive game, any shooter game, auto-aim has 0 place. Lock-on missiles are bad enough, but when you get weapons that auto-aim, it really kind of knocks the fun out of the game. So it's a problem to me. This weapon doesn't belong in this game. And back to the whole, this weapon is for newer players portion of the discussion. I don't really think that's the case right now, because the weapon is prohibitively expensive and it is not unlocked until some way up in levels, closer to level 100. So by the time you get to the point where you can even unlock and buy this weapon, you're not a newer player. You are an experienced player, and you should know how to shoot the weapons that you're using. And if you don't, just equip a lock-on. Just equip flak, something else. You don't need this gun. The only purpose this gun really serves is to counter bots that I'm using right now. And that wouldn't be necessary if the gun didn't exist. So, it's just, the whole reasoning behind this weapon is silly, and I don't think it was very well thought out. I've got this tiny little bot. It took me about 15 minutes to build, and I don't even build traditional flyers or drones or anything. It's not my thing. I do cruisers, I do tanks, I do copters, everything on the ground except mechs, and I can't build them, I just don't use them. But the point is that drones and aerofoil aircraft are just, they're not my thing. So, and I still managed to slap this crappy little bot together in 15 minutes. It was very controllable, as you can see, and I can buzz around like an annoying little gnat and dish out damage over time. It's not a lot of damage at once, but the ability to sustain the damage for the whole course of the match and always land your shots leads you to scoring high, even though you're not necessarily helping your team, at least not in the sense of playing Battle Arena. You're not capping towers. You're only harassing bots. Sometimes you're kill stealing. You get a lot of assists because you do a little bit of damage to the bots, but it's a ridiculous weapon, and you can do ridiculous things with it. As far as actually being a reasonably competitive player, these bots aren't for that. These bots are more of a troll bot. They're something to have a little fun with, do something a little different, to be annoying, because you're going to be rewarded for it. You are going to score in the top, 3 players most of the time. So you're still going to be rewarded for playing like a goofball, and I'm enjoying it. I mean, I had 4 of these. I took one apart to build another rail cruiser, but I'm definitely keeping at least 2 of them. Probably the 3 that I have right now are going to stay, because they're also good fighting tools. If you need RP and you don't care about winning or losing, you just want to keep earning RP, then they're great little things. Just fly around and score pretty well with, and rake in your RP, lather, rinse, repeat. But that's also annoying because we should be playing to win. Shouldn't be playing just to grind RP, and it's another part of the game that is prohibitive to new players, is how expensive the weapons are. I understand why Free Jam did it, completely understand. It's a little too grindy, but I get what they're doing there. They're flattening out basically what used to be the tier system. They're going to flatten it out and use the cost of weapons as a, I don't want to call it a grinding tool, as a gateway into each hidden tier, because there are still tiers. You have robot ranking, and that's what the matchmaker bases things off of, is the power of your bot. So there's still somewhat hidden tiers, and the prohibitive cost of the progressively stronger weapons is what separates, is what still makes you grind through. So the whole removal of the tier system was kind of silly, because they still have it, and it makes it frustrating to have a weapon cost like 10 million RP or something that you have to grind for, because you're not earning millions of RP per match in the lower tiers of gameplay. Most good Battle Arena matches, I'll get like 1.5 mil per match. Sometimes I'll get about 2. More often than not, I'll get at least 3. So, you're talking 10 Battle Arena matches just to buy 1 module, or a handful of Battle Arena matches where you do really well, and maybe even have your ×2 bonus, which only happens once per day, to even be able to afford this weapon in the first place. There's more problems with this weapon too, is that even if it was meant for lower tiers and it was cheaper, you notice how fast I can kill the small bots with it. It simply does too much damage for the lower tiers. It'll absolutely melt all these small bots that you're going to find in the lower ranked matches. So the whole weapon is just way out of whack. It's not fulfilling its purpose, or its stated purpose at all, and it can't. It's going to be far too strong if you drop its robot ranking and its CPU usage and its price, or whatever you had to do to be able to put it in the lower matches. It's going to shred everything that you look at, because look how quickly I can kill that thing. it just does too much damage. So the gun is completely out of whack. It's imbalanced for purposes of being a noob weapon. And it's just like I said several times now, there's a ridiculous weapon to add to this game. But like I said, I'm having fun. I've got several videos out now where I use these little bots. One of them, I just woke up and I can't stop laughing. I'm getting such a kick out of it because I'm not the only person doing this. As you can see, there's at least one enemy on the other team that has a small hover PSK bot, which is okay. But if you're going to do this, you really need to be in the air. If you're on the ground, you're going to get slaughtered by other ground bots, which are a lot easier to hit, and aircraft. But if you're in the sky, there's no backdrop for the plasma to splash damage you on, and you're just a lot harder to hit. So if you're going to do this, do it with a tiny fighter, just like this guy. So I don't really know what else to say about this. This is silly. All these results are repeatable, even in matches with a couple flak bots, more PSKs, a LOML. You know, I can still repeat these results. I'm not going to get first place every time, but more often than not, I'm going to score in the top 3, and far more often than not, I'm going to score in the top 5 and have top damage too in the top 5. So I think that's too much for such an easy to use weapon that can be stuck on such a tiny, inexpensive bot. And then, like I said earlier, I've had matches where it seemed like everybody on the enemy team had flak and they were lock-ons, and they all had PSKs, and it made me very sad, but I still scored in the middle attack. So I did average as far as all the players in that match goes. So this guy's got PSK on this other with his free little flag. And I mean, look there. Top score, second in damage for a silly bot. And, you know, this guy's doing the same thing, except he's got plasmas. And I'm beating him. Not really beating him, but I'm outscoring him by far. I usually hold the highest overclock on these, and that's also silly. You shouldn't be the best performing bot as far as overclock goes. You shouldn't be the best performing bot, or even average with this thing. And they said, when they released the weapon, they said, you know, this for inexperienced players, as I said several times now, that it's just going to hold back your experienced players.
Your middle fusion tower is under attack.
And that's only partially true. There have been matches where we lost, maybe because I wasn't playing my normal bots, where I cap a lot of towers, I'm getting around the map really fast, I'm defending towers, I'm taking towers back, I'm blitzing their reactor. Maybe we lost because I'm not doing that. But it doesn't matter to me because I scored high, I earned lots of RP. It looks on paper like I'm one of the best players in that whole match. But in reality, what I'm doing is probably detrimental to the team.
Your middle fusion tower is under attack.
So, just, I guess I'm going to shut up now. We'll finish this match out. We've only got a couple of minutes left.
Your middle fusion tower is under attack.
We're going to wipe out their core.
Middle fusion tower has been captured.
That's my piece on this weapon. There are going to be a lot of people who disagree. There's a lot of people in the forums who disagree. They'll claim that, you know, these matches are being cherry picked and these are ideal conditions, and it doesn't matter. This can be repeated in any match that's not chock full of hard counters. So, hope you enjoyed the video. There we are, third and first. And that is the PSK in a nutshell, guys. See you next time.